Q4 FY20 earnings conference call hosted by Nirmal Bang Equities Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Girish Pai from Nirmal Bang Equities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Nirmal Bang Equities, would like to welcome you all for taking time out to attend this call to discuss 4Q FY20 results of Inox Leisure. We have with us Mr. Alok Tandon, CEO, and Mr. Kailash Gupta, CFO, representing Leisure. We will start with some opening comments from the management, and then we will open the floor to Q&A. Over to you, Mr. Tandon.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Alok Tandon, and with my colleague, Mr. Kailash Gupta, who's the CFO of the company, I welcome you all, whoever are present on this call. I'm happy to inform you that the Board of Directors yesterday have approved the quarterly results for Q4 FY20 and for the full year FY20. The results have been uploaded on the website of the stock exchanges as well as on the website of the company. We have also uploaded the results as well as the earnings presentation. On this call, we would like to walk you through some of the significant financial and operating parameters as contained in our presentation. After that, we will open it for any questions that you might have. We all know that Inox has delivered outstanding financial performances year after year, and I feel proud to share that despite of the headwinds we have faced towards the fag end of the financial year, we have stood tall and yet again delivered a strong full year performance and continued our endless growth streak. Allow me to quickly share the agenda of the call with all of you. I will take you through the full year numbers as well as the Q4 numbers. I will then talk about our expansion and future screen addition outlook. We will then talk about the content, which is the most critical aspect in our business. And also, there's a lot of work which has been done behind the scene on the COVID front, including engagement with our stakeholders like landlords, producers, and various government authorities. We have also re-engineered our safety protocols and SOPs for the post-lockdown period. There will be a lot that we will be doing on the marketing front to ensure that our guests come back to us and we win back their confidence. I would also talk about what is happening around the world as far as the cinema industry is concerned, and finally, I will share some information on how we are managing our cash flows during this period. For Inox, it has been a glorious journey for the past 18 years, ever since we opened our first multiplex in Pune. We have always stood tall and firm in the face of adversities as and when they occurred. And we are sure that our teams keep this glory intact. The recognition we have received in the years gone by at various reputed forums are a validation of the team's remarkable performance. I'm very happy to inform you that we have delivered on our promises and have been successful in making Inox the most profitable cinema chain. We can say this because Inox is the best when it comes to profit on per screen basis, per patron basis, as well as per rupee invested basis. We are also the only national chain in the industry to be net debt free. We are the first in the industry to launch a 3-tier loyalty program called Inox Rewards to reward our customers for their patronage. Also, we achieved the milestone of 600 screens across the country during the last financial year, which was FY20. FY20 is a historic year for Inox. We've had the highest ever yearly footfalls of 660 lakhs. We have had the highest ever yearly ATP of rupees 200. We have had the highest yearly SPH of 80 rupees. And similarly, we have had the highest yearly revenue of 915 crore rupees. We have had the highest EBITDA of 347 crore rupees and highest yearly PAT of 141 crore rupees. Looking at some of the financial results and highlights of Q4 and the full year FY20, let me tell you that we will be comparing Q4 Y-on-Y and full year Y-on-Y. We are doing a Y-on-Y comparison where Q4 FY20 is being compared to Q4 FY19 and FY20 is being compared with FY19. For the quarter, total revenue went down by 22% from 484 crore rupees in Q4 FY19 to 376 crore rupees in Q4 FY20. EBITDA decreased by 61% to rupees 40 crores in Q4 FY20, and PAT then went down from 40 crores to minus 2 crores in Q4 FY20. For the 12 months of the year, total revenue went up by 12% from 1,707 crores in FY19 to 1,915 crore rupees in FY20. EBITDA improved by 7% to rupees 347 crores in FY20. PAT improved by 6% to 141 crore rupees in FY20. As you all know, our revenues comprise of four key streams, which are the net box office, net food and beverage, advertisement, and other revenues. For the quarter, the net box office figures went down from 284 crore rupees in Q4 FY19 to 218 crore rupees in Q4 FY20. That is a decline of 23%. F&B revenues went down from 123 crore rupees in Q4 FY19 to 94 crore rupees in Q4 FY20. That is a decline of 24%. Advertising income went down from 43 crore rupees in Q4 FY19 to 35 crores in Q4 FY20, which is a decline of 20%. And other revenues went down from 33 crore rupees in Q4 FY19 to rupees 29 crores in Q4 FY20, which is a decline of 12%. And as a result of which, the total revenues went down from 484 crore rupees in Q4 FY19 to 370 crores in Q4 FY20. Figures for the 12 months of the year are as follows. Revenue from net box office went up from 975 crore rupees to 1105 crore rupees in FY20. That is a growth of 13%. F&B revenues went up from 436 crore rupees to 497 crore rupees in FY20. That is a growth of 14%. Advertising income went up from 177 crores in FY19 to 179 crores in FY20. That is a growth of 1%. And other revenue went up from 119 crores in FY19 to rupees 134 crores in FY20. That is a growth of 12%. And as a result of which, the total revenues went up from 1,707 crore rupees in FY19 to about 1,915 crores in FY20. In Q4 FY20, net box office revenues now comprise of 57.9% of the total revenues. F&B comprises of 25.1%, advertising comprises 9.2%, and other revenues comprise 7.8% of the total revenues for the quarter. If I talk about FY20, the net box office revenues now comprise 57.7% of our total revenues, F&B 26%, advertising 9.3%, and other revenues comprise 7% of our total revenues. Now discussing some of the operational parameters behind these financial numbers. Overall footfalls declined from 180 lakhs in Q4 FY19 to 128 lakhs in Q4 FY20, which is a decrease of 29%. Occupancies too declined from 31% in Q4 FY19 to 24% in Q4 FY20. We started encountering low occupancies since mid-February due to the fear psychosis of COVID-19. Overall, average ticket price increased from 189 rupees in Q4 FY19 to rupees 202 in Q4 FY20. That is about 7% increase in ATP. Spend per head went up by 7% from 73 rupees in Q4 FY19 to 78 rupees in Q4 FY20, which is a growth of 7%. On comparable property basis, footfalls for the quarter declined on a year-on-year basis by 35% from 177 lakhs in Q4 FY19 to 115 lakhs in Q4 FY20. Occupancies too declined to 24% in Q4 FY20 from 31% in Q4 FY19 on the same property basis. For comparable properties, the average ticket price has increased from 189 rupees in Q4 FY19 to 203 in Q4 FY20. That is an increase of approximately 7%. Comparable spend per head has gone up by 8% from 73 rupees in Q4 FY19 to 79 rupees in Q4 FY20. For 12 months, footfalls improved from 625 lakhs in FY19 to 660 lakhs in FY20. That is an increase of 6%. Occupancies remain stable at 28% in FY20. ATP has increased by 1% to rupees 200 from rupees 197, and SPH went up by 8% from 74 rupees to 80 rupees in FY20. For comparable properties, footfalls went down by 6% from 550 lakhs in FY19 to 516 lakhs in FY20. Occupancies too declined from 28% in FY19 to 27% in FY20. ATP increased by 1% to rupees 200. SPH went up by 7% to 80 rupees in FY20. The net contribution of F&B has declined from 74.3% in Q4 FY19 to 72% in Q4 FY20. This decline in net F&B contribution is due to the write-off inventory amounting to rupees 1.5 crores due to COVID-19. Net contribution of F&B increased marginally to 74.6% as compared to 74.2% in FY19. We have been able to sustain reasonable growth in our F&B segment owing to a strong commitment towards improving F&B revenues and contribution margins. Film distributor share on NBOC declined to 42% in Q4 FY20 from 43.7% in Q4 FY19. For the full year too, distributor share on NBOC declined from 44.2% in FY19 to 43.8% in FY20. As far as the other overheads per operating screen are concerned, these went up from 42.5 lakhs per quarter per screen in Q4 FY19 to rupees 45.2 lakhs per quarter per screen in Q4 FY20. That is an increase of about 6.5% for the quarter. For the 12 months, 168.3 lakh rupees in FY19 went up to 174.9 lakhs in FY20. That is an increase of about 4%. It is a strong focus on controlling costs to bring in cost efficiency that we have been able to keep the escalation in cost at par with inflation. In terms of the shareholding structure, FIIs own about 8.61% of the company and TIIs own 20.85%. We have treasury shares of 4.23%, promoter and promoter group hold 51.89%, and the public owns 14.42% of the company. The share price as on 5th June 2020 was about rupees 288.5, which gives the company a market cap of roughly about 2,967 crores. Our trailing 12-month EPS is 14 rupees, trailing 12-month price to earning is 28 times, and trailing 12 months enterprise value to EBITDA is about 10x. In terms of screen addition in Q4 FY20, we have added 17 screens and 2,922 seats. This includes 15 screens at 2 new properties and 2 screens added to an existing property at Indore. So hence, in this last quarter of Q4, we opened 5 screens in Pune Elpro, 10 screens in Lucknow Phoenix Palacio, and 2 screens in our existing Indore Central Mall in Indore. And hence we opened throughout the financial year 58 screens as compared to 70 screens that we had promised. This translates to 83% of the target screen openings. We consider this as an achievement as our screen opening plans were considerably hampered because of COVID-19 Otherwise, we are very sure that we would have opened 70 screens as we had committed. Our current screen count today stands at 626 screens across 147 properties in 68 cities. At present, we are now operational in 19 states, 68 cities, as I just said, with 626 screens and 1,44,467 seats. Regarding property openings guidance for financial year FY21, at present we have 11 properties that are more than 85 to 86% complete. We are confident about opening these properties in FY21. These 11 properties with 41 screens with 6,374 seats amongst them, and beyond this, we have a very strong visibility of property openings based on the agreements we've already signed. I feel proud to share that we have properties tied up to the extent of nearly 1,000 screens, 142 properties with 184,000 seats. And once this pipeline is implemented, we will be about 300 properties, 1,656 screens, and about 330,000 seats strong. As far as the content is concerned, we expect a very good releases happening very soon. In the month of July, the ACE director, Mr. Christopher Nolan, has already announced the release of his movie Tenet, and we are also expecting Mulan in the same month. As per our guess and as per our estimates, we should have Akshay Kumar's Suryavanshi and Salman Khan's Radhe somewhere in October and November. In the same month, we will have two big Hollywood movies, which is No Time to Die, a James Bond franchisee, and The Black Widow, which stars Scarlett Johansson, in November itself. In December, hopefully, we will have the Ajay Devgn starrer Bhuj, Ranveer Singh starrer 83, and Amir Khan starrer Lal Singh Chadda. So we are quite excited about the pipeline, as this pipeline is quite strong, and we can see some great numbers and people coming back to the theaters starting September, October onwards. I will take a moment to talk about the opening of Inox Megaplex at Inorbit Mall, Mumbai, which remains the most outstanding development for Inox in FY20, apart from us launching a 3-tier cinema card. That's a loyalty card which I'm talking about. It not only underlines, which is the Inox Megaplex, our focus on experience, but also strengthened Inox's position on the global cinema industry map. Let me tell you that it remains the most unique cinema in the world by the virtue of being the home to maximum number of cinema viewing formats under one roof. Friends, by the time we reached the month of February, the COVID fear psychosis had started showing its impact on our business. Then, in the middle of March, state governments have started directing closure of movie theaters. Anticipating a heightened impact of the disease and the lack of cash flow, we had initiated dialogues with our mall landlords. We had invoked the force majeure clause, and we told them that we will not be able to pay rent during the shutdown period because we knew that there will be no cash flows at all. Another important set of stakeholders are our content producers. We are in constant touch with the producers, and they have reiterated the importance of the theatrical run and its benefits to the industry. Barring a few movies which have gone on the OTT platform, we've been given an assurance that the movies will come to the theaters first and only then will hit the OTT. Driving advocacy for the sake of protecting the business from the impact of COVID, we have proactively engaged with the government across various levels, right from the PMO's office to various ministries at the center and most of the state governments. We have also been in touch with the city level administration. The engagement has been driven through the industry association, which is the MAI, and as well as individually by Inox. We have made the best of the lockdown by re-engineering our SOPs and preparing new hygiene and safety protocols. We visualized the entire customer movie watching journey and identified touch points and prepared the safety commitment by Inox to safeguard these touch points from any kind of infection. Once the cinemas resume operation, we have put together a hugely effective integrated marketing plan which will help us stage a quicker turnaround. We will reach out, engage, and communicate with our guests with offers, experiences, and delights. We are even planning to promote private screenings as a new offering for our guests. Let me provide you a global picture of what's happening in the cinema industry. As of 1st of June of this year, 19 states in the US are permitted to operate, but in the remaining 31 states, no go-ahead of the United States has been given till now. Large cinema chains like AMC and Regal have not started operations anywhere in the US. Cinemark should open on 19th of June. French cinemas will be permitted to reopen beginning on June 22, like many other European nations. Japan is also set to resume cinema operations, and that could happen anytime soon. South Korea opened in the mid of May, and seen is that the footfalls are increasing, and so is Thailand. Cinemas in Dubai have opened, and they include big chains like Vox and Reel. Australia, New Zealand are expected to open soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was a snapshot of our financials, and I'm very hopeful that we will bounce back strong, we will bounce back soon, and once we bounce back, we will do the best which we do, which is to entertain our guests and show them movies on the giant screen. I would now open this forum up to any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may press star and one on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for a moment while the question comes. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may press star and one. The first question is from the line of Swagato Ghosh from Franklin Templeton. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my questions. I have three quick ones. Firstly, sir, can you help me with the comparable footfall growth for the period pre-lockdown, as in till say March second week or so? Can we have the comparable footfall growth numbers?
Well, as of now, it will be difficult for me to pull that out, but we can share the 9 months of FY20 with you. So that's in our earlier presentation, that how many footfalls we had in 9 months of FY20, and we're just pulling it out, and I can share that number with you or what we did.
Okay, yeah, that would be helpful. But also for the pre-lockdown period for Q4, can we at least have a guidance whether it was up YOY or down YOY?
Well, I would say that it was up, and also we were expecting more footfalls because movies like Angrezi medium only released for one day. We had Suryavanshi, which was lined up. So we were expecting a great month of March with high footfalls.
Okay. But you are saying without those also we were slightly up?
Yeah, and in 9 months, if I look at the same store growth, we were 4% up in comparable properties.
Got it. Yeah, that's helpful. And secondly, sir, how are we accounting for rentals? Firstly, for the March rentals and also for the current period, will you be accounting for that in the P&L? We have not paid.
No. So if you see our presentation as well as the results, we are clearly not accounting that part. We are very confident that we will not be paying any rental because we are in discussion, and across the country there is a wave that all the people who are coming on the mall side, I mean they are not opening up till the rent part is settled. So we are very confident we'll not be paying any rental for this.
And going ahead, as I said, that we have already invoiced the force majeure clause. Our agreements support that, and our landlords till now have been very, very supportive of our stance.
Okay. And sir, what has happened to March rentals? Because from what I understand, March invoices are raised in the initial week, so in the initial few days. So
Yes.
March ends have been paid or have you not paid? I'm talking about the entire March.
Yeah.
Period.
March rentals have been paid, and yes, we have got credit notes for the period we were shut.
Okay. Okay, got it. And the last question is, you spoke about the 1,000 scheme target, but
Yeah.
in a new world with probably slightly lower estimates because of whatever has happened, can it be a case that our growth is not actually return accretive because the estimates we had previously of occupancy, ticket price, etc., might need to be revised downwards? And in that scenario, do you think that our growth path needs to change, maybe take another route and not just the plain vanilla screen addition route?
No, not at all. I think, see, as I said, this is just a blip. These 3-4 months are just a blip in the entire history of the Indian entertainment industry. And we have only deferred our expansion plans. We are still going ahead with 41 screens where we have already done about 86% of fit-outs. It's not that our expansion has come to a halt. We will still expand, but yes, it will be delayed by a few months only. Where property developers are concerned, I'm very sure that once things settle down in the next couple of months, they will start reconstructing their malls or completing the work which they have. And next year, same time when we are having this discussion, we'll be talking about how we are growing and how footfalls are increasing rather than this COVID period. So I think this is just a small momentary aberration or a gap in a growth story of the entire economy, and we'll be bouncing back.
Got it. We really hope so. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Prashant Kutty from Sundaram Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Just extending on the same question in terms of footfall in the month of Jan, Feb, March. While you rightly said that obviously COVID impact and let's say some of the content wouldn't have come through. But even if we assume on January, February, the content was still reasonably weak. So was it that 9 months trend, the footfall would have definitely come off, right? Even if I have to assume Jan, Feb, the numbers, is that a fair assumption?
Well, I don't say that the content was weak in January, February, March. We have Tanaji, which is the highest grossing Hindi film of FY20, and that happened in Q4. We were about to release Suryavanshi, and it was the most anticipated film of March. So I don't think that the footfalls were weak. It was the fierce psychosis which people started having from February onwards that they started coming less to the theatres, nothing else. And why theatres? I would say that every other consumer industry was affected. Every entertainment sector was affected. So I feel that Q4 was as good as any other quarter. And we have some great movies like Tanaji, Suryavanshi, Angrezi Medium, all that for Q4 of FY20.
Okay. Sure. Second question is on the rentals. You said that obviously you've paid for the month of March, and you've said that you've probably applied force majeure for the next 2 months. I believe this force majeure is applicable on all of our screens wherever the rentals are applicable, or is there any differentiation over?
No, it's applicable everywhere. In all our agreements, the force majeure clause is there. And I said that we are in active discussions with the landlords, and yes, they've been very, very supportive of our demands.
So in extension to that, incrementally, there was in earlier conversation we were also highlighting about that you might probably look at renegotiation in terms of rentals. So let's say when the things open up, are we having any change in the negotiations in terms of probably using a revenue as a percentage of revenue method or anything of that sort? Is there any such negotiation which should be done? If you could just highlight on that.
Yeah, we have requested our landlords that we would like to pay a lesser rental for the time from when we open till 31st of March 2021, because the flow of movies will be less. We don't know how government will come out with social distancing norms. So these are some of the things we have highlighted to the government, to our partners across various properties. And yes, as I said, that we are in discussion, and we know that even for that, we've got some good responses from our landlords.
Okay. Okay. But nothing has been finalized as of now in terms of whether we will be going to the percentage revenue method as well, right?
Sorry, could you just repeat that question, please?
No, I said nothing has been finalized on the on whether you've moved to the percentage revenue method, right?
No. I said that we've got positive response, which
Okay.
means that it has been done with a few landlords,
Okay.
and it's happening with the others also.
Okay. And last question is on the debt in the book. In terms of the current levels, have you seen an increase in the debt levels, especially in the April, May, June period? If you just give us that number. And one last bookkeeping is on the rental amount which you mentioned, which is there in the press release. That number has come out from a 31-32 crore per quarter number to about 7-8 crores. If you could just explain that. That's from me.
Yeah, see, the rental has surely come down. As we said that we have invoiced force majeure everywhere, and that rental is not there now at all in the picture. We have got some own properties where we are maintaining them, we are spending some monies inside, so that's the only thing which has been accounted for. But otherwise, rentals are nearly zero. And your other question was on, if you could repeat that.
No, just before that, sir, I was asking for the quarter gone by in terms of rentals. We used to have roughly about a 30 to 32 crore revenue run rate. That has come down to about 7-8 crores. So, I believe you would have...
So Prashant here, just want to correct you that even the crore number is not there. So currently this number is around, 1.5 crore number.
Sorry?
So as I said, that's only for maintenance of our own properties, nothing else. So we are not paying rents at all during the lockdown period to anyone.
Okay. And my last question was on the debt part. What is the debt as on, let's say as on May, what would be the debt you would have probably taken as the now?
Well, I would like to just say on 31st of March 2019 that we were a net debt-free company. We are, as we have already said, that talking to various bankers for extending the line of credit. We have about 72 crores of cash holding, and this includes undrawn limits also. But we are in final stages of raising another 75 crores as additional debt. So that is all which I would like to talk on this.
So, thank you very much and all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Kinjal Desai from the Popular Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, I just wanted to understand, the 41 screen expansion that we are looking for in this year to be executed. Would it be right to assume that the capex remains at 3 crore a screen, or is there some change out there?
No, there's no change at all. Our capex, it depends on property to property, but yes, an average capex is about 2.75 to 3 crores per screen. That remains intact because, as I said, that most of the work in these properties are over. It's only the final touches which are left, like removing the paint on polish and polish on paint, if I can put it that way. But otherwise, our capex is remaining the same for these properties. And also going forward, we know the strengths, the inherent strengths of the Indian exhibition industry. And again, we can say that any property we will open will stand on 3 legs of luxury, service, and technology. And we will continue to lay emphasis and focus on those things when we open a property.
Sure, sir. So, sir, that means that the total capex will be north of about 120 odd crores for this year. I mean, would that be right to assume?
Well, no, I would say that the capex is only we require 28 to 30 crores more to finish these 41 screens.
Okay.
Yes. Because we are only talking about work which has been 85 to 86 complete in these 41 screens.
And so second thing from my end, you mentioned that, we managed to move part of our rental agreements to revenue share model. So would you be able to help us with how many screens or maybe a percentage approximately of the total number of screens which have moved now to rev share? And if that should have any impact on the way we report our numbers going ahead?
Yeah, surely the reporting will change, but I will not like to comment on how many screens, how many properties, where our agreement has changed to revenue share now.
All right. But sir, can you just please highlight, I mean, when you say that it will have an impact on our reporting numbers, again, I would be right to assume that because of Ind AS now, we will have a higher, going ahead, there will be a higher rental income, rental expenditure in our P&L than what we would have otherwise reported, and lower on the depreciation and interest cost?
Well, Kinjal, I'm not confusing this with the Ind AS reporting. I'm just saying as per management what we report and what we pay.
Okay.
So yes, there'll be less payment to a landlord because it will all be on revenue share now compared to the minimum guarantee which we have. And yes, we will see a lesser number in the next financials which we have. How many properties we have been successful, I would not like to talk about that.
All right. And so second thing is on the cost front, while we have been very successful in controlling our costs so far, with the additional, cost which will now come through because of, all the measures that we have to take for health and hygiene, do we see an increased operating costs in the screen versus before?
Well, only for the hygiene part, there will be a very marginal increase, Kinjal, because we have already gone through all line items with a fine-tooth comb. Sure. And that will continue to be less. But where hygiene, sanitation, chemicals for housekeeping are concerned, yes, there will be a slight increase. I would say substantial, because we already do a lot of deep cleaning, we do a lot of sanitization, but we'll be doing a little bit extra to ensure that there's guest safety.
Sure. Thank you so much, and best of luck for the future.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Jinesh Joshi from Prabhudas Lilladher. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. I have a question on the in-cinema advertising piece. I mean, post-COVID, do you think that there can be aggressive discounting in the market? Because since this is a perishable inventory and some volumes at lower price is always better than no volume. So can there be an aggressive discounting to chase volumes?
Well, it's too early to talk about that because even the advertisers should have good cash flows to advertise. We are in talks with them, and once these things start opening, only then we will be able to answer this question of how do we want to market ourselves, how aggressive we want to be in getting the ads. But it's too early to say whether we will reduce our rates or not, because as you all know that we focused on our rates from December 2015. We did we took some harsh measures. We were clear of what we have to do, and there was a lot of management focus on increasing our advertising revenue. So that's a decision we will take when the time comes. But as of today, I feel that our efforts will continue to be the same. We'll have more feet on street. We'll sit with the media planners to devise new strategies of advertising, and that's how we take up this entire thing.
Okay. And can you share what proportion of our deals are of long-term nature, say about for 52 weeks?
Well, we have quite a substantial chunk of the 52-week deals. But again, these are numbers which I would not like to share in public domain, that how many do we have for long-term, how many short-term, metro versus non-metro. So that is something which I will refrain from. But I would say that our focus and commitment for advertising growth is there and will continue.
Okay. And secondly, say for example, we get a permission to open our cinema in some green zone. Will we go ahead and open it? The reason I'm asking this is because if we choose to open, the fixed cost will start hitting our P&L, and initially the occupancy levels might be low. So perhaps we might be worse off than what we are now. So I just want to know what are our thoughts on this.
Well, our aim in this company is to entertain people, and if we get a permission in a green zone, we will surely go ahead and open our screens. We will see that how we reduce our fixed costs. We will look at various ways of ensuring that we get more revenues. That's the way our marketing skill will come into place. How do we communicate with our guests? How do we ensure that when they come to Inox, they're entering a neat and a clean place? So those are some measures we will take. But answering your question directly, the moment we get a permission to open, we will go ahead and open our screens.
do we have some break-even occupancy in mind at this juncture?
Again, we know that the break even in a normal scenario is about 20 to 21% occupancy, but not now. So today, it's very difficult to say that what the measures would be, as I just said, social distancing measures, how many people will be allowed, for how long we will be allowed to run our cinema theaters, what content will be there. So there are a lot of variables before we can come down to that digit of occupancy which we talk about will be break even for us.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Next question is from the line of Urmil Shah from IDBI Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. My first question is, while it is difficult to gauge the change in the consumer behavior, but wanted your comment on, given the content pipeline which is there for Q3, how optimistic would you be that with the social distancing norm, you might still be able to do the occupancy which was there in Q4, which any which case had the impact of COVID?
Well, I would say that we are quite optimistic with a good pipeline coming in and with the safety commitment which we have. People will come to us. See, today all of us want to breathe differently. We all want to go out. We want to go to a place where we can really relax for some time. And in cinemas, as I just talked about, we'll have frequent deep cleaning and disinfections. We will have various measures. We'll be adopting a lot of ways to ensure that the guest is safe. The biggest being everywhere it will be e-ticketing. There will be no physical transaction of tickets. All bills will be e-bills. We will have strict demarcation codes and I would say circles drawn on our floor that where people have to stand. We will do a lot of algorithm changes in our software where we book tickets so that one seat after every booking will be left vacant. Should a guest not have a proper mask or he wants to change a mask, we will be selling a PPE kit which will have a pair of gloves, a mask and a small sanitizer bottle at different points of the cinema hall. All our employees will have an Aarogya Setu app, so that will be a mandatory for everybody. So we'll be doing a lot to win back the confidence of the guests, as I always say, and I think I'm using that word for the third time in this chat which we are having. And coupled with the lineup of movies, I think people will be back and we will be back to our glory days.
Sure. My second question was, Siddharth talked about a cash burn of about 16 crores, which is happening currently. How should we look at the increasing, at least the fixed cost and the cost which we have cut right now in Q2, where we might not have a complete opening up or the content also not coming in?
Sorry, what was the question? You said that.
So my question was in the current scenario of complete shutdown, our cash burn is about 16 crores a month.
Yes.
In Q2, where still the normal operations might not happen, what is the level of increase in the cost which we should expect?
Well, it's very difficult to say what will be the increase, and I just now said that there are a lot of variables in that. What will be the social distancing, how many hours we'll be allowed to run our property, what will be the content. So today, sitting in June, I cannot say that in the next 2 months what a cash burn will be because everything is very dynamic. But we know for one thing that we have a very strong liquidity position and we are quite strong to maintain for the next, I would say, coming next couple of months, lots of months, about 6 to 7 months, we are absolutely safe. And there's no question of, yes, there will be times when our monthly expenditure will increase, but that will also increase because there will be revenues coming into the system. So there's no one answer or a one figure which I can talk about that what our expense would be going forward.
Sure. Then last thing on the changes as regards giving confidence to the consumer, the details on the presentation is extremely good. I just wanted your sense as to what is the kind of change we are likely to do in F&B, and what should we expect the impact on SPH and F&B revenue for H2. I'm more talking about H2 FY21.
Yeah. Well, for H2, again, I'm not going to tell you what the SPH numbers would be, but we are doing a lot of changes. We are going to have a truncated menu. We will have a single-use disposable packaging. We will ensure that there is no transaction at the tills. It's all digital money, and also we will be having various stickers on the floor, so there is no crowding at the concession counters. So we'll be doing a lot of, making a lot of food which is quick and easy to dispense. So all those things we'll be doing. We may not get back to 100% menu, which we had in earlier days, but we will still have quite a substantial amount of food and beverage offerings, which are quick to dispense, easy to make, and can be given to a guest in a packaging which is a one-time use. So we'll be doing a lot of work. We will also go in for some healthy choices and immunity boosters. So that's another thing which we are looking at, and we'll be able to roll it out once we open.
Got it, sir. Thank you so much, and all the best.
Thank you very much. Next question is from the line of Tejal Shah from Reliance Nippon Life Insurance. Please go ahead.
So thank you for the opportunity. Just two questions from my side. One, I wanted to understand, is there any change that we are going to be seeing going ahead with the production houses on the revenue share, which is there currently? If you could highlight on that. And second was on the, now that we're moving more onto the online ticketing platform, would we be seeing a change with the online aggregators on the way the revenue share happens? If you could highlight on those two aspects.
Well, I would say whether it's the producer or the online ticketing aggregators, we've been partners for a long time. And all of us, I think, are just as of now looking at to bounce back, to start a business rather than negotiating whether it's less or more. The answer in a one-liner is that there will be no change. And as both producers and our online aggregators, we have been long-time partners.
Fair enough. And any, sir, change in the windowing gap that we will see, or that would continue as per the agreements that we've been having of a 1 month at least?
So, Kinjal, it's not 1 month, that's an 8-week window we have. And that will continue. And we have got a lot of assurance from our producer friends that they all believe in the power of theatrical exhibition. And yes, windowing is important, and that's followed globally. It's nothing new to India. And we expect the content creators which have already told us that they will go in for theatrical release, and the windowing will continue the way it is. Also, we know that the entire ecosystem of the film industry understands the strong fundamentals, and it also helps to generate value through releasing it in theaters ahead of OTT and satellite.
Okay, sir. That's all from my side, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Anyone wish to ask a question, you may press star and 1. Next question is from the line of Swagata Ghosh from Franklin Templeton. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my follow-up. So, sir, you mentioned that you got credit notes for the lockdown period for the March rentals. Can you just elaborate how many of our landlords have given us the credit notes, and were they for the full lockdown period in March, or was it a partial credit note?
Well, I just said in one of my answers that I will not like to enumerate. It's a decision between me and my landlord, and that's something which I cannot say in public domain. But yes, as I said, that we have got credit notes for the period when we were shut, and that's all I can comment as of now.
Yeah. So, sir, I just want to clarify that is there any landlord who has not given us credit note in full?
Well, again, I would just like to say that I stay with my statement that yes, we are, that's just between me and my landlord, and we have got credit notes, period.
Okay. So, sir, just to reframe the question in a slightly different way from whatever we are hearing from different parties, including landlords, is this is not a very black and white thing. There is a gray area in between, the force majeure, and hence there has been no resolution thus far. Otherwise, probably it would have gone one way or the other. In that case, I'm just trying to understand whether or not accounting for the rentals 100%, is that slightly aggressive on your part?
Well, I think then you should ask the landlord you're in touch with for the answer, because I clearly said that we have got credit notes and they are very positive for the lockdown period that we'll be paying no rentals.
Okay, fair enough. And so on the debt that you are in talks to raise, the additional 75 crores, can you give us some color on like what type of instrument and like who is the type of lender, bank, NBFC, and what is the interest rate that we are looking at, and how does it compare versus say what we borrowed probably pre-lockdown?
See, again, these are numbers I think which are very, very confidential to a company, that what my interest rate is, whom I'm talking to, what are the deals, what are the terms. But let me tell you that what we have asked for is additional debt of 75 crores, which we are very, very hopeful that we'll be getting. And beyond this, I think it will be not fair for me to comment in a public forum that, or otherwise also, that what my interest rates are, what my other terms and conditions are for getting this debt.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Sir, one last question is the employee cost that we see on the P&L for the fourth quarter. Does it already reflect some of the maybe cost-cutting measures we have taken, or that's normalized number and we'll see further cuts to that number?
Well, that's a normalized number which we have seen. And as I said that this is for only Q4 and FY20. Going forward, there could be some changes in this number which we'll report later.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So do you have any follow-up question?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Abhishek Joshi from CGS CIMB. Please go ahead.
Thank you for this question. My only question is, you said that yeah.
Abhishek, sorry to interrupt you.
Am I audible?
So your voice is breaking terribly. Can you please come in a better reception area?
Am I audible now?
Well, your voice is cracking.
Am I audible now?
So you're audible, but your voice is cracking.
Yeah, I'm audible now. Hello?
Sir, I'll request you to come back in the question queue.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Yogesh Karve from BNK Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the opportunity. So just one clarification. So regarding the revenue share deals with the mall owners. So do we already have such revenue share deals, or we are in negotiations for this?
Well, Yogesh, to answer your question, that we have in some properties we are talking to our landlords and they've been very receptive. That's it. So it's a mixture of both, that yes, we have in some properties, and in some properties we have only a fixed rental where we are speaking with the landlords for the future.
And in case of this revenue share, so which way the things are heading? So do we have a pure revenue share, or this would be substantially lower fixed fee and then revenue share kind of a transactions are more likely?
Yogesh, these are micro questions. Every property is different. Every cost structure is different. So I cannot answer in one way for how we deal with all our properties. But yes, as I say, and I stick with us, that yes, we have been in touch with our landlords for revenue share, and we have got a lot of support from them.
Okay.
So secondly, regarding the 72 crore cash and credit line, so this is as of March or as of today?
This is as of today.
As of today. Okay. Okay. And so finally, regarding regarding based on our discussions with the government and various authorities, so what are we picking up or what are our expectations regarding the reopening or any cues that we are picking up, any comments that would be helpful?
Well, no comments as of now. We've been in touch with the Honorable Minister of I&B as well as Honorable Minister for Commerce. We have given various representations to the PMO and the Finance Ministry. So as of now, they all are saying that we'll have to wait for some time before we get a directive that when we can open. So there's no clear timeline as of now, Yogesh, that when we will open. We are hoping for the best. We hope that we can open soon and bring you back to our theatres.
And whenever they reopen, what kind of pricing strategy do you have in mind? Do we see a need for a sort of a reduction in the ticket prices or F&B prices at this stage?
Well, I would say talking about price reduction is very myopic. Let's look at what we can do to get back the customer. We have a loyalty program which we will I will speak with our customers on that. We will give them various offers. We will have private screenings. We will have local area marketing so that our team can go and tell people that we are open now. We will ping you for a movie which comes as per the genre which you like, because that data we have in our loyalty program. So we'll be doing a lot of things. We'll be doing some cross promotions. We will do segment-wise targeting. So what's our main aim? Our main aim is that people come to our theatres, and that is something which we will be focusing on.
Sure. That's all from me. All the best.
Thank you very much. Next question is from the line of Ronak Vora from Home Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Can you just give me the breakup of the 15 to...
Sorry to interrupt you. You're sounding too distant from the phone.
Hello?
Sir, go ahead. The line for the participant dropped. Move to the next participant. Next question is from the line of Ankur Periwal from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Alok. Hi, Kailash. Thanks for the opportunity. So just one question. Now, if I recollect, we had revised our convenience fee arrangement mid of last year. So how much benefit would have come in this financial year in terms of months? Maybe it's a 3-month positive impact, 5 months in positive impact?
Again, Ankur, these are numbers between me and my aggregator.
No, sir, I'm not asking the absolute number that you have negotiated the deal with. I'm just asking, since when did we negotiated this arrangement, and what is the number of months of benefit that we should factor that in the current year's number, reported numbers?
Well, I do not remember the exact month, but it's been quite some time since we have negotiated. The agreement is still on.
Sure.
The benefits are still with both the partners. I don't know if that is your question and I'm answering it right, but that's what I understood from it. But the deal is still on with our aggregators, and there is no change in it at all.
Sure. No. So, my question was not whether the deal was on or not, but where I'm coming from is while, starting FY21, obviously it's like a washout year for the entire industry that way. But I was wondering if, the impact on this revenue line will be positive going ahead, because the partial benefit would have come in this year. And even if I consider probably a 3-month lockdown impact there, whether this number should be a decent positive number, or there could be some dip or some sort of downward revisions with this number as well?
No, not with the aggregators. Our tenure would be extended, and there'll be no issue. There'll be no dip in revenues, if that is your question, because the entire deal is getting extended.
Yeah. Fair enough. That was the only question I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraint, that was the last question for today. I will now hand the conference over to Mr. Girish Pai for closing comments.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Tandon, do you want to make any closing comments?
So I would like to thank everybody who's on this call for taking interest in our company, and I would like to tell them that we'll be chatting again in the next quarter, and we'll be discussing these things more and in detail while going forward. Hopefully, COVID will be behind us, and we'll be talking about numbers of what we are getting, which movies are releasing when, and as I said that we should be back to doing best what we do is show movies.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank the Inox management for giving us this opportunity to host the call. Thank you all for taking part in this call.